Welcome to another episode of In the Kink of Things. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to talk about in this one, and I do have a few special guests lined up, but this one I wanted to share a little bit more about my recent experience. And one of the things that I wanted to share was my inner denial of myself. Now, I am talking here openly about some of my desires, some of my experiences, but part of me was still judging those things very harshly, was questioning my sanity in a way, was questioning why I would desire the enlarged spectrum of sensations, why I would enjoy, or even part of me was even questioning how could I enjoy certain aspects of things that I enjoy. And it wasn't until I allowed myself to think about what I desired and to start imagining those desires actually being valid, being accepted by myself, being played out. And just that mind imagination had created such a big energetic shift within myself, because I went from suppressing something that is deeply rooted with who I am to actually acknowledging and allowing myself to play with it in my mind like a movie, like a theater play or a scene. And I could feel the energy rising within me. I could feel my body tingling. I could feel my arousal. And it wasn't even that the scenes I was playing were very sexual. It was the fact that I was allowing myself to dive deeper into this world that, for whatever reason, feels like is part of my makeup, is part of my DNA, is part of who I am as this human being on this journey of life. And it's almost like there's this stream of consciousness coming through me, and each stream has a different desire of what it wants to experience while coming through me, this human body, this human life, this human beingness. And by me judging and labeling some of those desires as questionable, as non-sane, as culturally unacceptable, that I was blocking my own life force energy. And it was really an interesting experience, because as I was exploring, I could feel the heat rising and flowing through my body. I could feel myself getting hot, where traditionally in my life I would actually be running cold, where my hands and my feet would easily, or even my body would easily feel cold, and I'd be wearing multiple layers just to be warm. My partner would joke that he'd never see my hair for 7 months of the year because I'd always wear a hat or a toque or something to keep my head warmer. So that reflection of just physical body heat, just from a change in perspective, just from a change in moving from self-judgment to self-acceptance, is such an interesting reflection. And it makes me wonder, where else in my life am I judging what I want to experience, what I want to do, how I want to live, who I want to share my time with, and my energy with, my creativity with, and how that would look like, and what I want to create in my life, both internal and external. Well, of course, it starts with the internal, it starts with the thought, it starts with the idea, it starts with the intuition. And then through that gets created and built up and manifested externally. Somebody very recently has mentioned orgasmic energy. And when we talk about orgasm, we all, or a lot of times, we tie it to sexual orgasm, sexual energy. But life itself is a form of orgasm, of co-creation, of interaction, of energy, of creativity, of presence in the moment. And I feel like even this heat rising within me, this creation of flow, feels very orgasmic. A little bit sexual, expanded undertones, but almost like this is the presence itself of the energy is just here. It's now, it's waiting to expand, flow. And being more in the presence, being more in the now, even through the sexual, sensual interactions, whether it was myself or with a partner, the more I'm present in my body, the more I'm present in the moment, the more my mind is focused on here, on touch, on feeling, on being here. With my mind, with my heart, with my soul, with all levels, with my body. And the more of the various aspects are in alignment, the more energy flows, the more orgasmic the experience is. And you can have an orgasmic experience from a scent, from smelling a flower, from watching a sunset, from having a cup of tea. Because you're present, because you're here, you're not thinking, you're not energetically somewhere else. You're here, you're grounded, you are whole within yourself, whatever that means for you. And I think that is why there's so much confusion around physical orgasm, as well as energetic spiritual orgasm, because they're not exclusive of each other, but people don't think of one, the spiritual orgasm, the energetic orgasm, as an orgasm, as a upwelling of energy, of union, of oneness, because it's not sexual. And then on the sexual side, the sense of pleasing or being somewhere else with the mind, or being so focused on the other person, if it is between two people, can take you out of yourself. Where when two people are truly within themselves and then come together, then they're connecting, and then that energy can rise together. A lot of times one person may have that energy and the other person is just kind of wobbling, I will call it. But it's beautiful when you're able to be so aware of yourself that you can tune to the other person, and then you can create that explosion, that blossoming together. That's not necessarily your goal, but it is a lovely experience. And for any of you that find it challenging to even feel it within yourself, this is where I point back to the self-exploration, the self-love, the self-care, the finding out what turns you on, taps you in, makes you want to scream in pleasure. Those are things that only you in your body can discover. Some may give you suggestions and ideas, but it is you and your mind and your heart and your feelings that need to come together to be able to provide the space to expand, to blossom, to feel. I do feel like a little bit of a broken record sometimes, because I'm like, I just spoke of something similar in a previous video, another video where someone else spoke to it, but if it wasn't important enough to repeat, it wouldn't be constantly repeated. If it wasn't something that is still left aside, it wouldn't be constantly repeated. We are really well taught in how to neglect ourselves for others or for other circumstances. So at this point, we greatly encourage, including myself, every single one of you who's listening to this at some point, to really spend time with yourself. And it doesn't have to be in silence. Also, having less distraction can be helpful to feel into the body, into your breath, into your feelings. Into the space of a relaxed nervous system that isn't trying to figure out what's the next thing that it needs to take care of, what's the next thing it has to deal with. But being able to just breathe, feel relaxed, and be present with yourself. And allow things to come up that want to come up, no judgment. You may notice it. Write it down if you feel really inspired to speak it into a recording. But give yourself the gift of your own company. Let that sink in. The gift of your own company. Being so present with yourself that you can share time with you. That you can spend this moment of appreciation, of communion, of fellowship with yourself. If you wish to have a camera or mirror to speak to yourself, to have a conversation, and you can answer yourself back. You can ask questions. What am I feeling right now? How is my day going? What is something that I truly wish to embody and experience on many levels of life? How do I wish to dance with others? How do I wish to show up in relationships? And how am I showing up with this most important relationship within myself? That is the question that most people forget about. Is that how you treat yourself is how others will treat you. So when you sometimes feel like others are treating you unjustly, unkindly, or whatever form of dissonance that gets reflected to you, take the time and reflect. How are you speaking to yourself? How are you feeling about yourself? What beliefs or mind memes are playing that you may wish to revisit, that you may wish to actually question, that is still something in alignment with who you are, where you're at. I had this amazing experience where I realized I was becoming more and more the person I wish to be. And that is just to embody love, embody excitement, embody peace, embody purpose. And there's been times where things have annoyed me, but just one time, it's the same occurrence, the same event, where I get woken up really, really early. And even if I'm tired, you know, you're like, oh my God, why? Why can you just not make noise this early in the morning so I could get some more sleep? But this morning, instead of feeling annoyed, I felt this desire to send love instead. And afterwards, I felt what a wonderful reflection of how my internal world has shifted. That is my unconscious behavior that came out. That my first thought was to send love. And to me, that is such a beautiful reflection. And it's not meant as a scale of If you're not there, you're not, I don't know, you haven't made it. We're all humans, we all have feelings, we all have the same spectrum, and I'm sure I will get annoyed again and get woken up way too early. But that reflection of having created that unconscious habit of choosing love, of choosing to breathe through the stressful moments, of choosing to slow down even when the physical reality would normally tell you you need to speed up. But to take that breath and to have that inner calmness, and to allow that to flow through me, even in the stressful situations, I feel so much more spaciousness within me. And this is not necessarily the bar for everyone, but this is what lights up my soul. This is the type of paradigm I want to live in. And I'm so happy that it's starting to be reflected into my physical reality. And it's taken me years of self-neglect and coming back to myself. I am turning 44 this summer. And some of you are going to be younger than me, some of you are older, some of you are similar ages. But the reason I'm bringing that up is that it doesn't matter your age, your journey so far, where you've been. What matters is what you choose to do with your now moment, what you choose to embody in the now. An interesting side note, if you ever watch people when they're not consciously watching, you can see whether they're happy or not on the inside, because you see their face, their mouth. If they're concentrating on something else, like on a Zoom call or somebody talking, watching their face, if they're frowny or if they're smiley, you can see what their internal world is in that moment. And when someone is focusing on something else, their default will come through. What their inner core is tuned to. And for myself, I'm happy to feel my inner core tuning more and more towards that presence of peace, of love, of co-creation. And I do hope that me sharing this part of my journey can be a reflection for some of you who are still listening. And if this doesn't resonate with you, don't watch it. Spend your time on something else. But for those of you who are here, who are present, you are just as special as I am. And I mean special in the way that we are all unique individuals willing to go deeper, willing to question the norm, willing to go through the darkness to explore the light on the other side. And sometimes the darkness is only because you're looking at your own shadow that you're casting because your light is so bright. I wish you all the most grandest, amazing inner knowing of yourself, exploration of your desires, of your loves, of your curiosities, of your excitements, of your own orgasmic energies. What allows the flow of your consciousness to be expanded, to flow freely, fully through all aspects of your life, through you. There is nothing more courageous than opening up your heart space and feeling all the feelings. All the ups, all the downs, all the ins, all the outs. In the present moment. Not with judgment, with witnessing, with observation, with, isn't that interesting? Let's see where this leads. Let's see where this goes. Let's see how being fully expressed reflects back to you from the world. I want to thank you all for listening, for sharing, for spending time with me here today, and for allowing me to share my reflections with you all. It's maybe a little bit different from the usual one, but this is where I'm at in this now moment, and this is how I'm feeling, full of excitement and love and anticipation of life, of what's more to come. And I wish for you all to be able to feel even a fraction of what I feel, because it is so delicious, it is so wonderful, sometimes painful, but so alive feeling. All the emotions, all the feelings, all the presentness, all the nowness of being here. I really appreciate you. So much love, so much gratitude, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.